big one. There we go.
Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
Welcome. I am former Republican Mayor Brian Levine, here on Believing Better with Brian. And here we will show you how Believing Better with Brian will help you in America along the right path. I believe our country is great and can even do better because I love this country. I love the people in it. And becoming a mayor, a county commissioner, I did that by myself. I stayed away from the machine, though they were supportive of me, because I believed in connecting with the people. I've been a lifelong certified public accountant. I used to be the former director of financial planning and contract analysis for a Fortune 500 corporation with nearly $1 billion budget. As county commissioner, it was about $250 million. And I'm going to bring those good qualities here to help you understand things. So this is Believing Better with Brian, and I'm your host, Brian Levine, former mayor, former county commissioner director. And I am thrilled to have you here, and I'm thrilled to be an American and to help us along our way. So on today's show, we've got a lot of good aspects. We're going to first come up with our mug of the meeting in a moment. We're going to talk about everything from tragedy to politics in the California wildfires and the legacy of our 39th president, Jimmy Carter, his funeral at the age of 100 he was, but there was drama at the funeral. Why should there be drama at a funeral? I'll fill you in on that. The good, the bad, and the ugly of the LA wildfires, and the ugly is certainly the fire, but people's reaction and those who are entitled to it. And I'm recording to you from New Jersey, and we've got a good old, another New Jersey scandal. They don't cease to amaze us. The Soprano State, New Jersey, give you another good scandal. And when I'm governor, they're going to cease. They're going to cease. And I'll tell you the solution. And then I'll tell you, we'll have a segment of what your father should have taught you. And it's related to politics this time. So let's get our mug. And here it is. On January 20th, it is Martin Luther King Day, which coincides with our presidential inauguration of Donald Trump this year. This mug is from a Martin Luther King breakfast in my town here in New Jersey. It is one of the largest, not only in New Jersey, on the East Coast. Ballroom full of hundreds of people when I was mayor and a county commissioner. We used to call it a freeholder in New Jersey, commissioner director. I'd often give speeches, and I'd like to release a speech for you. Hopefully that can be on YouTube too. So, Martin Luther King Jr. Good mug, good water it holds. And we shouldn't forget that he said, judge someone by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin. And I think we've slipped back because too much race is too much everywhere. We're going in the right direction, and it was being eliminated, and people weren't, or at least the perception of it. Now we're sliding back. A lot of companies who were having DEI have now cut back on that also. So we're going to go into things like that in future episodes. But for now, Martin Luther King, it's a national holiday. Some states recognize it too. So that's our mug for the week. So the California wildfires, a lot going on about them. And like a lot of things, too many things, it is becoming political. But then responses to emergencies are political. So how did it start, all these fires? And the answer is, no one really knows. Said it could be everything from arson to carelessness to just the dryness and the fires and the wind spreading it. And as far as fires, we have the LA mayor, Karen Bass, in the hot seat. She has a nearly $13 billion budget in Los Angeles. And this is making the news. She dropped the fire department budget, as was approved by the city council, $17.6 million. The mayor actually proposed a $23 million cut, but the cut was reduced to $17 million. Total fire department budget's about $820 million. So this is about a 2.2% cut that they made there. And it's mostly cutting a bunch of civilian vacant positions and reducing overtime. Fire Chief Kristen Crowley has said the cuts have affected core operations. And she did write a letter months ago to the fire commissioner saying, I think this will cut core operations. And a lot of them said, get the hell out of here. It's not going to affect anything. But apparently it did. She was right on that part. So when I was mayor, a Republican mayor in a Democratic town, about 3-1 Democratic, but they elected me because I could connect with the people and I had good policy. And one of my fundamental philosophies was always public safety is number one. LA doesn't quite go with that philosophy that I had. Our police department grew when I was there. We gave them sophisticated equipment. We were one of the first to get cameras in the police cars and computers in the police cars so they could do their job, the men and women, as best they could. Our emergency services were given accommodations and money. We carefully monitored things like response time, which they were very good at, but we would get answers on things, and our police were stellar, and as were our firefighters, all the emergency services. They got our deference. When our firefighters installed new officers, and we had volunteer fire departments, and we still do in my town, they installed their new police officers, and to these events, they invited my wife, Lori, and I, and we always went. It might have been extremely rare that something was up and we couldn't. In our town, we had 10 fire companies, 4 fire districts, numerous first aid squads, and sometimes they just installed the officers privately. But when we were invited to their ceremonies, we attended. Why did we do that? Because I wanted to show them how much I cared and that this was important. And it is important. And it was important to me to show support. And that was one of the best things I did in my years as mayor, was be with the firefighters and the first aid squads when they installed their officers, the president, the vice president of the squads, the new chiefs, new captains, etc., because that is important. And our police department grew when I was mayor because, again, my philosophy, police and emergency services are number one. So let's go back to the funeral, as we said, of Jimmy Carter and his legacy. And I hope to do this in a future episode, go over his legacy. Some good, some bad. Remember years ago, I read his book, Keeping Faith, where in detail it kind of outlined his Mideast peace accords between Israel and Egypt. And we should not have drama at a funeral, but we did. Not from the funeral itself, because a lot of the speeches were good, but from the audience. You can look it up if you like. President Biden very likely may have fallen asleep there at the beginning because he's shown with his eyes closed. Some say no, he wasn't sleeping. He was just examining the inside of his eyelids for murals or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway. And then we had from the president falling asleep, to Vice President Kamala Harris snubbing others, to George W. Bush not speaking to Donald Trump, to President and former First Ladies not speaking to each other. And even a few nice things like, despite their feud, Donald Trump shaking hands with his former Vice President Pence. And something nice like showing the pictures of Donald Trump and Barack Obama talking and laughing with each other, not during the funeral, but beforehand. And where this one was snubbing that one and not talking and not shaking hands, they were speaking to each other. And of course, that was a problem to some people. Oh no, you can't be speaking to someone who's on the other side of the aisle. I am so tired of this political divide. When I was mayor, when I was county commissioner, when I was director of county commissioners, which is basically like mayor of the county, I worked with all sides. We didn't agree all the time. Sometimes, often we disagree on things, but that's okay. You discuss it, and sometimes I convince people to vote my way, and sometimes I was outvoted, and then you move on to the next issue. And sometimes, if they were wrong, I'd keep on top, rally support, and turn it around, even though sometimes it would take years to do that. But that's the way to do it. That's how it should be. So if and when I'm in elected office again, you'll see us working together to get things done, not just us against them all the time, which I'm sick of. So, this California wildfires, and some things people don't discuss about it. It's not only the fires pushing people out. There are a lot of people, they'll see the fire in the distance. Put on my glasses to shield me from the fire. But there will be smoke, and that's coming too. And if the fires don't hit them, the smoke does, and they have to evacuate because of that. Especially, they may have infants, babies, elderly people living in the house, people with compromised immune systems who can't take all the smoke coming in. So it's not only the fire itself that's ravaging, it's the smoke and it's the other things which are coming in addition to it. So the fires put a spotlight on some of the citizens in California. Like we said, the mayor of LA, she was in Africa when it hit. She was criticized for that, but you don't know when it's going to hit. I can't criticize her for that. When she was told of it, she came on back. So, yes, it was a foreign trip. Sometimes mayors, governors go on foreign trips. Senators, Congress people for goodwill, or especially mayors and governors, because they might be working on trade or goodwill with other parts of the world. So the spotlight was put on two of California's wealthiest citizens, Stuart and Linda Resnick, agricultural tycoons, who made a fortune to the tune of $17 billion on farms that guzzle a scarce resource, water. So I don't blame them, entrepreneurs making money, but they cannot escape the criticism for their agricultural empire, which their farms, now especially pistachio and almonds, heavily water intense crops, as I understand it, especially almonds, who use more water than entire cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco. And it's a bad visual when they're sucking up reservoirs full of water for not food that's going to feed everybody, although almonds and pistachios are nice, but they're not the vital crop like food and wheat and such as that. And a lot of people are saying that they're sucking up this water while hydrants are dry in LA. And some argue, I've seen that, well, it's different systems. They're getting money, water from the reservoir. The firefighting is in another place, different system. I'm not buying it entirely, though I'll have an open mind. I will see it, but it's a terrible, terrible visual. So while their insatiable crops are sucking up all this water, especially when California was in a drought, they're trying to regulate and they're getting all this extra water for their crops. Is it a coincidence that they contributed millions to gubernatorial and political campaigns? I hate the hypocrisy of politicians getting millions of dollars from people and then turn around and kissing their ass and giving them extra things while the people suffer. In this case, it was over the years the people in California suffering through the drought. So they're politically connected to Governor Gavin Newsom. Is that why they're getting a pass? I don't know, but it doesn't look good. However, a 2016, now this is 8 years ago at this point, nearly 9, investigation by Mother Jones magazine found that the Resnicks, that's the people, the pistachio, almond, and by definition, use of water moguls, their agricultural business consume more water in some years than the residents of Los Angeles and the entire San Francisco Bay Area combined. And you tell me that doesn't affect things and that doesn't affect the water? Don't tell me it's so different. Water can be rerouted. It can be used. Build a damn aqueduct like the Romans did. Oh my goodness. But once again, you got a buck or two and you get special treatment. And you know, the poor slob whose house is burning down, it's like, okay, let's give them $700. What's happened to the people in North Carolina who are devastated? And they're still waiting. And then there's the Hollywood elite. I gotta put this on because I can't take it. The Hollywood elite who think they're better than you. And no one proves that they're worse than you. Give me a break. Oh my goodness. Can't take it sometimes. Let's take an example. Kim Kardashian. Look, they're great in that they took the free enterprise system. They made millions and tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions of dollars for their family. Good for them. I still don't know why they made it. They parlayed their TV show, a reality show, into cosmetics. Good for them. I don't get it still. But hey, they're one of the pioneers on making a brand out of their name and themselves. Good for them. But you know what they did? There's water-saving rules in LA over the years, and they broke the water-saving rules to tend to their damn garden. Oh my goodness. They're given fines by the city. And for them, it's a drop in the bucket. No pun intended. Just the cost of doing business. How much extra water did they consume about which they were fined? It wasn't an extra gallon or a swimming pool full. It was 232,000 gallons. What arrogance. What arrogance. Well, these people hire private firefighters. Is their right, just like people hire private security guards, private lawyers when they can't. As long as they don't use up extra water, I don't have a real problem with that. But again, flaunting the other people, saying I'm better than the people, I can use up the water. Damn it, when I'm governor, laws and rules will have teeth. Not this little slap on the hand. You find someone $1 million when you have 100 million. It doesn't matter. It's just the cost of doing business for them. Damn it. And some others who were fined over time, Sylvester Stallone, Kevin Hart, they're all fined for their flagrant disregard of the rules. And I'm going to pronounce it wrong, Jhené Aiko, her home burned down. That is terrible. I feel badly. But she posted, I'm devastated to have to start again from scratch. From my shade. Start again from scratch. Give me a break. Look, I have no problem. Free enterprise, you earn millions and millions of dollars, but you're not starting from scratch. First, I'm sure you should be insured up to the hilt. You've got millions of dollars on the side. You can go anywhere. You can rent a floor in a five-star hotel. Don't tell me starting from scratch, microphone, like some people have to do. And man, give those people who are devastated their due. And as I told you, a good old New Jersey scandal from the soprano state, the state I'm broadcasting from. And once again, I was the Republican mayor. When I'm the Republican governor, these things are going to start. The head of New Jersey's top watchdog agency, the State Commission of Investigation, the CEO, Tiffany Williams Brewer, she stepped down last week because questions normally reserved for the type of investigation she was leading were leveled against her. What hypocrisy. If I had extra room, she'd be my hypocrite of the week. You know what? She is being my hypocrite of the week. I just changed my mind. Usually that's at the end. Tiffany Williams Brewer, who heads New Jersey Commission of Investigation, was charged with what she would investigate. She resigned from her post. Thank you. The Asbury Park Press published a story showing she was teaching a full slate of courses at Howard University while she had a full-time job in New Jersey, getting a full-time salary. And she signed documents claiming principal residence in Maryland, all while she was being paid $200,000 annually. And then Ms. Williams Brewer disputed the Asbury Park Press findings, but how'd she dispute it? She just said, oh no, I disagree. She declined an interview. Why? Because she was freaking scared that they would show what a freaking hypocrite she was. Soprano state, there you are again. When are people going to learn? And here's the laughing part. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I got to put on the shades because I can't even see it. She was disappointed. Okay, so she had a full-time job in New Jersey, Office of Investigations, and she was investigated because she had another full-time job living in another state, and she says, I resigned because of the toxic work environment. Toxic work environment? That's because you did it! Oh my goodness! Hypocrite of the week? Yes, you are. She took no responsibility. She took no accountability. You know what's going to happen? Nothing! They're going to say, okay, here's your severance and your past sick time and your accrued vacation time and just go away. Oh my goodness. This is what happened. If I were governor, would say, not only that, you're going to pay back the salary you stole from the state. Not only that, this pension you built up, it is gone. You are not getting your pension because you're a crook. Look, anyone can make mistakes. That is fine. People make mistakes. It happens all the time. Things are off. People don't do things completely right. But when you lie and steal and you're a government official and you're supposed to be above the fray and you're investigating other people who are doing things less badly than you are, then it's time to get some teeth into the rules. When I'm governor, things are really going to be different. What a bunch of crap. So, things your father should have taught you. We'll do this briefly. Be kind, be a gentleman, and don't be a crybaby. And look, I was a Republican mayor, but this is a slam on a Republican. Nebraska Senator Deb Fisher, not her, but her husband, Bruce Fisher. He refused to shake hands with Vice President Kamala Harris when the vice president was swearing in Senator Deb Fisher. I think that was her third term. Defenders of Mr. Fisher, the senator's husband, said, oh, he had a cane in his hand. He couldn't shake hands. Come on, people with canes shake hands all the time. And there's videos of him in the past shaking hands. Maybe you're mad at the vice president, but come on. Don't be a crybaby. Be above the fray, no matter what party you're in. The final thing, when you're looking at the inauguration this week, if you don't like Donald Trump, that's fine. If You think he lies, his policies aren't good, that's fine too. That's your opinion. And if you're not MAGA, that's fine also. But remember why over half the country voted for him. They were hurting. They didn't like what they saw. They were looking for a change. And that's what Donald Trump professed to them. Will he bring it? I hope so, because I love America and I don't care who's in office, Democratic, Republican, Independent. I want those people to do well and do well by the people of the country. And I don't like when people say, oh, I hope this person does badly, which means your ordinary citizens are suffering. No, let the citizens prosper. Let it be well. Like him or not, Donald Trump will be the president of the country, and we all hope he does well. For the sake of this land that we all love, and we know gets better and better because the brilliant founding fathers had a constitution which can be changed and amended and society grow. So remember, as you go off, that always remember as you go off into the world, the philosophy is integrity and the feeling is empathy. Thank you for joining me, Brian Levine, here on Believe in Better with Brian. Thank you to my producers, Giancarlo, Sam, Paulie, for putting this all together. Could not do it without them. And I want to see you again here as part of this great land. Be well.